Hi everybody, it's Sydney here, and I just wanted to share a story with you tonight, which I hope will lift you up. I had this amazing experience today that has just opened my eyes. I think we think or we try to live with awareness and to take in the world around us and be fully engaged. But I did have an experience today that really challenged me and brought me out of my own personal headspace and into society in a different way. And so I just want to share this with you, and I hope that you can take something away from the story. Basically, I set out with my dog Rudy tonight on a jog to go to the dog park, and on our way, we came across this gentleman who was in his electric wheelchair and just sitting there in the middle of the sidewalk. And I actually walked by him because we went to throw out the waste from the dog. And I had one of those moments where I thought, is he okay? Or is he just taking in the scenery? I didn't want to make any assumptions that he wasn't well or that he wasn't just enjoying his evening and taking a pause on his ride up the street. But as I walked away from him, I just had that feeling of, I don't know, I should ask. And I think we all know what it's like to be in a hurry and to see something that's just a little bit off, but to decide that everything's okay because by all appearances things are fine. I know I've been in that situation before. But tonight I was not in a hurry. It was a leisurely jog, so I just walked back over to him and I asked if he was okay. And he answered me, and he had a bit of a speech impairment. But after a few rounds of trying, I finally understood that he was telling me that his motor had broken in the wheelchair and that he'd gone to buy groceries, which I could see hanging on the back of the chair, but that now he was 4 blocks away from home and that he wasn't going to be able to get there on his own. And so essentially I ended up pushing him up the street using my full force. He was a lovely guy, but not a light guy. And I had my dog tied around my waist, so Rudy's kind of running along with us. And it was just a really interesting moment, and it really took all of my physical strength, but I felt like, something in me thought, I don't know if anybody else is going to be able to do this, so I have to muster my strength. And so that was the situation. And we actually were crossing at a light, and we had about 20 seconds to get across, and right as we were finally reaching the curb on the opposite side, the chair jammed, and then the light changed, and we were still partially in the middle of the road, and oncoming traffic started to come, and thank goodness this couple came, an adorable couple who looked like they were about to go out on a nice date together, came over, and the three of us together were able to maneuver the chair back up onto the other side of the sidewalk. And they stayed with me and with this gentleman, and so the 4 of us plus the dog ended up taking him to his building, and you really did need 2 or 3 people to help get that chair over a lot of the bumps. So, I mean, some of you may already be immersed in the world of ability or disability or able-bodiedness. But for me, it definitely raised my awareness in terms of some of the challenges that people in mobility devices must face. But the whole situation also got me thinking because, how much do we take for granted that, if anything goes wrong, we can just pick up our phone and call a friend. I assume that I'll be able to speak and communicate and be understood. And this guy didn't have that luxury, and it just happened that I wasn't in my usual self-centered world that I'm in when I'm walking down the street, but that I actually stopped and really, took that moment to ask if I could do something. And so, it's not a big deal. It's a nothing situation, but I do feel that, any of us could be in that situation one day. And I know that there are times where I need help, and maybe it's not in the same way that this man did, but I do pray for all of us that, we can be even more aware of others around us in our community, and that if and when we have our moment of need, that someone else will be there and be willing to offer to help if we're not able to ask. And at the end we got him up into his lobby, and as we were walking, the gentleman was telling me that there was someone at his building who could help him order a new device. And so, and we chatted. He told me his name, and the other thing that I guess meant the most to me out of the whole experience was just that this is someone who lives in my community. And at the very end, he said thanks, and I said, well, I'm sure I'm going to see you again. And he said, yeah, I go on that street a lot. And I said, well, I go there too. So I am confident that I'll see him again, and now I can actually say hi, and it just opened me up in a different way. So I wanted to share it with you, and I'm sure maybe you've had an experience like that, or maybe you have a loved one or somebody that you help where it just brings you back into your body and back into that state of appreciating life and appreciating just how fortunate we are, and to also think about, well, what little things can we do? It doesn't need to be a big thing, but what little thing could you do today or tomorrow that would just show an openness to your environment, or just do a little favor for somebody? Because I don't know. I just think, if it was me, I would really hope that there was someone who was willing to stop and help me out. And I do have him to thank too, because I got an amazing arm workout today. So I guess that's it. That's my story. Thanks so much for tuning in. And if you have comments, or if you want to share any experiences too, please post away. And I'll come back at you with the reading again soon. Bye.